Okay, so the EIDL, once again, small businesses with 500 or fewer employees. Now, here's where that SIC code comes into play. In fact, um, we have a medical company that's a client. The eligible average 3-year revenue for that is $12 million, which is kind of low. Some industries, it's $50 million, very high. So you have to look up, if you just Google that, SBA size limitations, they actually have a little interactive thing on the SBA website. You can figure out if you qualify for this or not. A sole proprietor with or without employees or an independent contractor is also eligible for this. But the key right there is you have to have suffered substantial economic injury. They're supposed to be streamlining the application process to this. I do know that the EIDL previously, it would take 6-9 months for people, they'd assign a caseworker and they would collect all sorts of financial information to determine if you were eligible for this. I'm hoping they're going to streamline it a little bit, but I would anticipate for this particular loan, you're probably going to have to provide a little bit more documentation and show that you suffered substantial economic injury. The limit is $2 million for this, although there is an emergency advance grant of $10,000 if requested. So when you apply for the loan, there's a little checkbox. It's kind of hard to see, don't miss it. But if you do apply for this loan, you can check the box and say that you're requesting an emergency advance grant of $10,000. Now, I went through this process early last week. The website was working. And as expected, I haven't heard a single thing from the SBA yet. My bank, Live Oak Bank, I mean, those guys really did an amazing job. I mean, I was chatting with them all weekend. They were working. They were cranking out loans. They submitted loans the first day you were allowed to at 3 in the morning. They were transmitting loan requests to the SBA. But this loan directly with the SBA, if you're waiting for your $10,000 to pay some bill, I would not hold your breath. I have not heard of anyone that's actually received it yet. Okay, what can you use the money for? Similar but slightly different than the PPP. You can use it for the paid sick leave due to the COVID-19. You can use it to pay employees, obviously. Increasing costs due to supply chain disruption. That's kind of a broad-based thing. Rent, mortgage payment, and repaying obligations that cannot be met due to revenue losses. It's kind of a broad base. It's much more broad-based than the PPP allowable expenses. This loan cannot be forgiven. Okay, so once you take the loan up to $2 million, you do have to pay it back. You apply directly with the SBA. Here's the website there. Or once again, you can just Google SBA EIDL loan application. The emergency grant, if you do get the $10,000 by some miraculous happenstance, even if you are not approved for the actual loan, you do not have to pay the $10,000 back. So I suppose in a couple $1 trillion bill, the $10,000, they're not really worried about it at this point. Okay, so the advance will reduce any loan forgiveness amount under the, if you get a PPP loan, that $10,000 will go against that. The loan terms are up to 30 years. The SBA gets to decide that, not you. 3.75% interest rate, once again, a lot higher than 1%. Nonprofits get a little bit of a break. There is no collateral required if your loan is under $25,000. Which is not a large number, and no personal guarantee if the loan is under $200,000.